Hey guys, and welcome to another brand new video. In this video, there is literally 15 actually really cool news stories we get to go and cover and talk about as of today. There is so much news that's come out, so much random little small gaming news, but a lot of this is all kind of pertaining to really big AAA games, good news as well, which I'm kind of happy to go hear about, and a lot of other really cool things we get to go talk about over here, including some things with a brand new Elden Ring DLC, Final Fantasy 16 gameplay and news and everything else. We're having huge releases, we have brand new updates, we have other brand new AAA games from one of my favorite dev companies. A lot of really big news coming out over here, and there's even more stuff we get to make for videos on later on throughout today. So I'm excited. This is actually kind of a cool news day, at least going on so far. So let's go talk about it. If you guys are new, make sure you guys are subscribed with the notifications on. Give me your thoughts and comments down below. Twitter and Twitch down below. Amazon Target links down below for all the consoles, and let's dive into this news. So very first and foremost, let's go talk about probably the most random and sporadic late night thing that went and happened last night. You guys may have heard about the news, or it might be making its news cycle as of today, but as of now, we did see the big bad boys Elden Ring on the official Twitter account itself, which to kind of make it a little bit more extra, I guess, exciting, or extra, I guess, pog, for lack of better terms, is that this is an account that barely ever tweets. This is just out of the blue. There's at 2 in the morning as well, saying, "Rise, tarnish, and let us walk a new path together. An upcoming expansion for Elden Ring, Shadow of the Erdtree, is currently in development. We hope you look forward to new adventures in the lands between." Now, don't mind me having literally the world's biggest nerd chills known to man, because Elden Ring was probably one of my favorite games I think we had so far. Fantastic, lovely game. Amazing, great. I love this. I am so utterly excited for this one. The Elden Ring environment is just insane. I just think it's going to be a good game. I'm excited for it, especially because I think Elden Ring's going to be a really hard game to one-up. This is one of those rare examples where I do think a DLC is actually a better life call. I really truly think that a DLC, with how big the world is and how big the lore is and how big everything is and the assets they could probably reuse, I want them to go and just remake this. So I'm extremely hyped up. I'm excited, and that's probably one of the best news we could actually have a chance to go and see so far. Now, I also want to go talk about the Final Fantasy 16. Now, Final Fantasy 16, I was actually kind of complaining about a few days ago because I never was mentioned the state of play that came out from PlayStation, but we're hearing really good news and also gameplay I'll show you guys in a second, saying Final Fantasy 16 won't be delayed unless a literal meteor falls on Japan itself. Producer Nakoi Yoshida commits to June for this PS5 game. So Final Fantasy 16 will be released on PlayStation 5 for June 22nd, and with a few months left until the action-focused role-playing game's arrival, producer Nakoi Yoshida feels confident about that date. I know Final Fantasy games can get delayed at the last minute, and we also had a lot of big issues with Forspoken 2 as well when that came out. Yoshida said in translated comments about the press event for Final Fantasy 16 held in New York earlier this month. But literally, unless a meteor falls on Japan, there will be no delay. Well, Yoshida didn't outright name the other Final Fantasy games he was referring to. It was an oblique reference to the most recent major mainline entries in the series, such as Final Fantasy 15, Final Fantasy 7 Remake, also Forspoken 2 as well, and all these other various games too have also just been delayed non-stop. But as of right now, it does kind of seem like the development for the game's gonna be good. Everything's gonna be going solid, and even as of today, we're actually now seeing this over here from IGN, now literal gameplay over here for Final Fantasy 16, in case you guys want to see little bits and pieces. I'll just have it muted for no DMCA or spoilers or whatever, but you guys can kind of see some of the animations, some of the cutscenes, and everything else in between, where we can finally now enjoy Final Fantasy 16. Now, I've mentioned before, at least in my own personal takes, just for, I guess, YouTuber content, I'm not really the biggest fan typically of the medieval type style. I even had that issue a little bit with Final Fantasy 14, the MMO, and I really liked Final Fantasy 15 because it did have a little bit of a slightly more futuristic push. I also kind of like Final Fantasy 7, that type of world too, because it is technically futuristic, although not pure futuristic, if that makes sense. But either way, you guys can kind of see the combat, the gameplay, the levels, the animations, and everything in between for Final Fantasy 16 is looking pretty good. I've actually really been enjoying almost everything we've seen so far. Besides, like I said, I'm not really just the biggest fan of the medieval, political type run. And if you guys have played Final Fantasy games before, there's usually a lot of political drama, or the big overarching big bad, or corporate takeovers, or things that are we have to save the world from the big bads. It's just I guess the overall general flow for it. But Final Fantasy 16, as you guys can see from gameplay wise, so far first impressions have gone good. We've also had other big YouTubers as well have a chance to have a hands-on and sit down, and so far the early reviews have been pretty solid. It's also very nice to see because with Forspoken not necessarily having the world's worst reviews, but as well not having really the best reviews, has been a little bit more on the sketchier side for I think a lot of folks. So as you guys can kind of go and see from all this stuff, has been very nice, been very cool, and you guys can even see some of the old school gameplay over here in comparison, because look at how big these huge mobs are, these bosses. Here's Garuda herself, who's like a pretty consistent, I think, character in other Final Fantasies too. It just looks good. The gameplay looks good, everything seems good, it kind of seems vibey, the quick time events, the animations. I think the UI, if you guys look down below, also is looking very nice and clean. I don't mind the HP. I don't know, I'm actually getting pretty excited for this game from everything we've had a chance to see so far, and as well with even games like Elden Ring, petting animals, you just saw with that one, the cutscenes, the lore, and everything in between. I do think it's kind of a nice big thumbs up. So give me your thoughts and comments down below. Are you guys excited for Final Fantasy 16? Because this is probably one of my most anticipated games coming out for this year so far. Now, for some other big things to know is if you guys didn't see, Destiny 2 actually had a huge expansion. If you guys are also playing Destiny 2, leave a comment down below. But apparently right now, Destiny 2 has just broken its all-time player base record. As of right now, there is 316,000 players. I mean, kind of give or take as of now, but apparently a lot of folks are actually pretty hyped up for this Lightfall thing, so a lot of people streaming it up on Twitch, a lot of people getting hyped up for it in general, doing the prep, and a lot of my other bigger gamer friends too as well, who are into the Destiny scene, have actually generally really enjoyed it so far. Now, it's only been the first day, and typically the Destiny 2 cycle is you enjoy the game a lot for 3 weeks, and then you go through all the content, you go and beat the raid, and then after that, there's kind of nothing else going on, and if you keep playing, you keep playing, but if not, well, that's just, I guess, like the life cycle of a live service game. But Destiny usually does have a pretty good launch, and this is, don't forget, now a Sony subsidiary, so it looks like PlayStation might be getting some brand new good dollarooskies over here with a lot of big players checking out the DLC. But like I said, brand new all-time peak, so it seems like gaming is still alive and well, as long as the games that people are trying to go play are, well, doing solid. Now, as well, besides all this other good news, I want to go talk about kind of a more nifty and kind of a niche news story, which is in regards to Hitman dev confirms the online fantasy RPG, but there's actually apparently no mention, though, of the PS5. But this is a big thing because I loved Hitman. Like, I've actually even did Hitman on my Twitch stream. If you guys ever want to hang out and chill for that one, we can maybe do a little more of that soon. But basically, Hitman itself has, like, this brand new, like, assassin-type game mode, almost like a RNG-type mode. Very cool. And Hitman, the base game, was a very good, solid game as well. So IO Interactive, the Danish developer behind the Hitman franchise, has now announced its OFT rumored online fantasy RPG project. And if it's anything close to the standard of Hitman, Hitman 3, this might be really good. So the jury's still out of whether it will come to the PS5 or not. And to be clear, this title has been a source of speculation for several years now, although originally it was believed that Microsoft would publish the game on either Xbox or PC, or maybe even a Game Pass game. However, there's been no mention, though, of target platforms or any publishing partners in the studio's blog post. Now we are sharing with you all that we are embarking on a new adventure. The message reads, one that expands our creativity, our capabilities, in some sense our identity. We are building a new world, a new IP, an online fantasy RPG, a world and game built from the core to entertain players and expand for many years to come. Feels familiar. At the same time, IO is going on a journey unlike any we've seen before. So if you guys have ever enjoyed the Hitman type style games, you guys might be a little bit excited for this one because I will be pretty hyped up for it. Then you go and mention too as well, they're going to have development against many different teams, including some teams in Copenhagen and Malmo and Barcelona, and all studios taking part in making all of our games, including this new endeavor. It adds, people from all over the world with diverse personalities and skill sets are coming together to forge a new beginning. So I'm extremely hyped up for this one too, because they also are working on a brand new James Bond title, and the Hitman game to me was a very, very good success, very well made, and I'm very excited to go and see it. So I'm going to keep that up in mind. Now as well, even more and more news. In case you guys are curious, The Last of Us Part 1, which is the remake over here, is actually currently up on sale. In case you guys do want to go and check this stuff on out. I know a lot of folks have been interested in this ever since the HBO show has been pogging off. But at the same time, it's up at $50. A nice little cheaper price over here as well, up on Amazon in case you guys are curious, or you guys do want to go pick it up. Now, to kind of wind down our video too as well, we also had a little bit of kind of cool news too when it comes to, well, bad news when it comes to PC, because apparently the PC push for Final Fantasy 16 may actually take a little bit longer than like a 6-month period too as well, and folks are getting a little bit upset about that one too, but they want to make sure the PC version is going to be good, working well. They may have to take a little bit more longer time, and although it is a 6-month exclusivity period for PS5, they may want to wait a little bit longer just to make sure the PC version can come out, and they want to optimize it too as well. So they just want to make sure the PS5 version is really good first and foremost, and then make that huge jump into making PC solid. And very last but not least, a little bit of a niche game over here. The Outer Worlds is finally going and getting its upgrade for the Xbox Series X S, PS5, and PC. I think a lot of folks actually really enjoy this nice cult classic, so I think it's actually good news at the end of the day. A lot of really good news stories, a lot of good stuff to go talk about. Very happy with it. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. We'll have another one throughout today. Make sure you guys are subscribed with the notifications on. We have the Twitter and Twitch stream down below. We have the Amazon links down below. We have the Target links down below. And of course, if you guys ever want to say hi, if you like, thoughts, comments, everything, feel free to, and I love you guys.